Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to take a really focused look at the career and the mindset of CBA player Xining. Now, you've sent in a fantastic collection of material, got audio interviews, news articles, even performance stats, and I know you're keen to really get under the skin of what makes this player tick. He's just come off a pretty tough season with the Shenzhen Leopards, more losses than they're probably used to yet, but it was also a season where he hit some new personal milestones, some real highs. So we've got this rich mix of sources to draw from, which should give us a pretty well-rounded picture. Our mission today, it's pretty straightforward, understand what drives Heesening, who's often described as a slow bird, and figure out what key lessons we can pull from his very determined journey. Okay, let's dive right in, right? Let's start at the beginning. Where did it all kick off for Heesening? He grew up in Jinan. And interestingly, basketball wasn't actually his first sport. He started out in track and field, believe it or not, a sprinter. His first steps in basketball came under his first coach, Wang Shilling, and then other coaches there in Jinan. But it looks like a really pivotal moment came in the summer of 2012. What's fascinating here is the impact of the Lin Shuhao training camp. Jeremy Lin, right? It was apparently there during a tryout in Jinan that Jining really caught the eye of Yuan Yuan. Yuan Yuan was a youth team coach for Dongwon Basketball School back then. And this recruitment, well, it basically marked his entry into professional level training. He was just 15, quite young. And yeah, that move definitely seems like it paid off pretty early on. In 2015, he was on the Guangdong Shenzhen team that won the very first National Youth Games U18 basketball championship. That must have been a massive confidence boost, you'd think. But it wasn't always a straight path, was it? Which brings up an important point about his parents. Their initial feelings about his career choice. Apparently, they saw a more, let's say, traditional path for him. He was doing well academically. So the world of professional basketball probably felt like a riskier bet, especially with no real family history in sports. And this kind of reflects that broader cultural emphasis on academics, doesn't it? For Hejining to push against that current, it must have taken some serious internal drive, maybe even navigating some family pressure. That's a common story for athletes.
Yeah, it clearly took real conviction on his part to chase this dream. He's even said himself that he didn't really see himself as naturally gifted. Not one of those players who just had it all from day one. He felt he had to rely much, much more on just sheer effort, dedication. That whole slow bird description really seems to fit how he saw himself, especially early on. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, you see this recurring theme, right? Perseverance may be mattering more than perceived natural talent. This early struggle, this conscious effort, it probably laid the foundation for how he approaches improvement even now. Okay, so let's shift to his professional career. He kicked things off with a 3-year loan to Beijing Beikong. That was from 2015 to 2018. We even have his debuted season stats here. 6.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, and about 22 minutes per game.
His highest score during that Bacon stint was 22 points back in 2017. So it sounds like he was getting valuable court time pretty early in his career. What's notable here is the progression, I think. While those raw numbers might not, jump off the page immediately, getting consistent CBA minutes so early, that had to be crucial for his development. It let him learn the pace, the physicality of the league. You do wonder, though, could getting so much playing time that early lead to maybe picking up habits he later had to fix? It's possible. Then in 2018, he returns to the Shenzhen Leopards. And that's where you really start to see him, blossom, take off. He starts hitting these milestones, like his first 30-point game in April 2019, and then bam, a career high of 34 points in January 2021 against Guangdong, no less. And a real mark of recognition came too, his first CBA All-Star selection in the 2019-20 season. These milestones, they really illustrate his growing importance, his impact on that Shenzhen team. Those 30-point, then 34-point games, they show a clear upward curve in his scoring, definitely. And the All-Star selection, that means fans and players across the whole league were noticing, and probably wasn't just scoring either, right? His defense, his playmaking likely improved around then too, contributing to that recognition. Right, fast forward to the 2024-2025 season, and he gets a new challenge, captain of the Shenzhen Leopards. That comes with a whole different level of responsibility. Things like guiding the younger guys, trying to build team cohesion, keeping everyone on the same page.
Yeah, the captain role, it's definitely more than just playing well on court. It's about leadership, mentorship, being that sort of unifying force. This extra layer of responsibility probably tested his people skills, his emotional intelligence quite a bit. And it seems it wasn't exactly smooth sailing. The team, they really struggled that season, 2024-2025. Their win percentage dropped quite a bit. And this tough season clearly weighed heavily on Heesening. We heard in one of the audio clips, didn't we, that despite the losses, he was taking it really personally, staying up late, analyzing opponent game footage. That shows a real deep personal investment in how the team's doing.
But this level of dedication, while you have to admire it, it also points to potential downside. He actually admitted himself he could get maybe too focused on winning, on perfection. And that intensity could sometimes negatively affect how he interacted with his teammates. That drive to win is crucial, obviously, but it needs balancing with good communication, empathy. You need to bring people with you. Have the sources given us any clues about how his teammates saw this intense focus? Not explicitly, but you can imagine it might be tough sometimes. But that drive for improvement, wow, it's undeniable. He's flat out stated his dedication to training is stronger than most pros. He puts the work in. And then, get this, he completely changed his shooting form. That's something you just don't see very often from an established professional player. What's really remarkable is his willingness to make such a fundamental change relatively late in his career, too. Apparently, after watching guys like Clarkson and Bogdanovich during the 2023 national team training, he decided to switch from a set shot, minimal jump, deliberate release, to a proper jump shot, leaping up for a higher release point, making that kind of fundamental change at his level. It's like, I don't know, a seasoned guitarist suddenly switching to violin mid-career. It means dismantling habits that are just ingrained and facing the real risk of, well, playing badly while you learn. The mental toughness that requires, that tells you a lot about his character, a key insight, really. And it wasn't easy at the start, was it? We heard about some low-scoring games during that initial adjustment phase. You'd expect that. But then, February 2024, he drops a career-high 44 points in a game. That's just an incredible testament to his perseverance, sticking with that change. It really hammers home his commitment to evolving his game. And even after that huge success, he hasn't just stuck rigidly to it. He apparently keeps adjusting his technique, using the jump shot more when his body feels good, maybe falling back on a modified set shot when he needs to. That adaptability, that's the mark of a player who's always learning, always tweaking, always refining their craft. Now, his national team experience is another interesting thread here. He's been included in the training rosters quite a few times between 2020 and 2023. But his actual game time, his appearances, have been pretty limited. He did play in the 2022 FIBA Asia Cup, though. And get this, he played even while dealing with COVID-19 and an existing injury. That really speaks volumes about his commitment to playing for the national team, that sense of honor. You can sense his disappointment, though, with the limited opportunities he's had at that level. It's clearly a huge aspiration for him, representing China. And he's also quite reflective about it, saying he needs to further develop his own unique strengths to fit better into the international game, which is tougher, faster. That self-awareness, knowing what you need to work on, that's crucial for any athlete aiming that high. It's also clear he really values the mentorship he's received along the way, and he actively tries to be a mentor himself now. He's talked about how much Stefan Marbury, his former coach at Beijing helped him out, especially early in his career and when he was recovering from injury. The impact of experienced mentors like that, it can be truly transformative for young players. And now, Xining seems to be paying it forward, guiding younger Shenzhen players, guys like Meng Kun and Wang Haran, pushing them on their training habits, their dedication. It shows he understands that cycle of growth and the responsibility that comes with being a senior player. Physical conditioning is obviously huge for him, too. A major priority. He has a very, very disciplined approach. Diet, high-intensity training. He sees it as absolutely essential for maintaining performance and, importantly, longevity. He even talks about having an ideal playing weight he aims for, to optimize his speed, his agility. This dedication to looking after his body, well, it's often what separates athletes who have long successful careers from those who fade away. His goal, playing until he's 35. That highlights his focus on staying healthy, avoiding those career-derailing injuries. Although there was mention of a recent finger injury needing attention in the offseason, so it's an ongoing battle. And his plan to train in the U.S. during the offseason, that just further shows his proactive approach to getting better physically and technically. Throughout all this source material, his Xining consistently comes back to this idea of himself as an ordinary but persistent slow bird. Whoosh. And his ultimate goal, it isn't just about stats or wins on the court. What's really powerful, I think, is his focus on the journey itself and the impact he wants to have on other people. He wants to be remembered for his perseverance, yeah, but also for being a positive influence. That perspective, it suggests a certain maturity, doesn't it? Going beyond just the wins and losses column. He seems to see real value in the process, in learning and growing, even from the setbacks and losses. It's fascinating how that early self-awareness, that feeling of needing to work harder, seems to have fueled him his entire career. You see it in his intense training, his willingness to make that huge change to his shot late in his career. It's all connected. So to kind of wrap this all up, Xianing's journey really highlights several key things, doesn't it? There's the sheer power of perseverance, overcoming what you think are your limitations. There's the critical importance of always improving yourself, adapting your game, never standing still. There are the complex challenges, but also the rewards of leadership, and underlying it all, that deeply held dream of playing for your country. These insights, I think they resonate with why you wanted this deep dive, that desire for knowledge, those aha moments. Because Sardik Jinning's story, it isn't really about innate genius, is it? It's about relentless hard work, chipping away at challenges, constantly looking to evolve, and ultimately hitting major milestones through sheer effort. It definitely makes you think, doesn't it? Maybe consider the areas in your own life, right? Where could a slow and steady approach, combined with that kind of honest self-assessment, that willingness to adapt even when it feels uncomfortable, where could that lead to unexpected achievements? What jumps or changes might feel really difficult at first, but could actually unlock significant potential for you down the road? Something to chew on. That's your food for thought for today. Thanks for taking this deep dive with me.